So hi everybody, this is Kurt Koyman again with Adash America, and we're at a customer site that they have some extruders, variable speed, and what we want to do is go in there and we want to use the recordings with the new VA3, and also we're going to use the existing VA4 unit. A great thing about recording data as opposed to doing setup and collecting standard route data is the recordings are essentially just a raw recording, kind of like a tape recording used to be in the old days. So you don't have to think about how you want to set up your Fmax or any setup. You just record the vibration signal at a long enough time length, right? You want to record it long enough so when you get back to your office, you post-analyze, then you can set everything up the way you want to check it, collect your data, and if it's not the way you want, then you can go back and set your Fmax or change your resolution and play it back just like you could replay a tape recorder, continue to collect data until you get it the way you like. So we'll be recording with the VA4. We'll be recording up to 4 channels at a time, and when we're doing this, and also with the VA3, it can record up to 3 channels at a time. But what we're going to be doing today is just we're going to get a recording 1 channel at a time at each measurement point. And I think that's about it for here. It's pretty windy out here, so we're going to get inside and get to work, and we'll follow up when we get done.
Okay, so now that we are inside, what we're going to do now is we're going to set this up to where we're going to record off of just 1 channel. And while we record off this 1 channel, we're not going to be using the speed sensor. We're simply just going to select the file name. Once we've inputted the file name, we'll go to the screen and we'll enable to record off of channel 1 and hit start. And once it initializes, it'll start recording. During this process, you can see the overall G amplitude, you can see the frequency it's recording at, and you can see the timeline it's recording at. And once we've recorded for a couple of minutes, then you just simply hit stop and save, and now you've got your recording to post-analyze. In a case where you have a machine and you have a variable speed machine, you maybe not know the speed, and maybe you don't know exactly how you want to set up the analysis, you can use your VA3 or the VA4 in this case, where we have the single channel set up. We've enabled channel 1, and again we're recording at 65 kilohertz, and we'll record for a couple of minutes, maybe a little longer. That's long enough to collect pretty much any kind of data you're going to need at speeds above 300 RPM. So you simply hit start, you initialize, it records data, you stop and you save it to the disk. Once you've saved it to the disk, then you can utilize the DDS software just as if you were going to do any kind of route-based analysis and go back in and collect data just as if you're walking out to the machine to collect data. So it's a good way to collect data off of a machine that you really don't know how you're going to set up the data, and you don't have time for it, so you record the raw data and you post-analyze it in the office. Now, if you have the cabling, and it really enhances the analysis if you can record 4 channels at one time. So in this case, on this motor, we have all 4 channels set up in horizontal, vertical, or X and Y on driving and non-driving. And we're recording data off the machine as it's running through the various speeds. In this case, we couldn't shut the equipment down for a speed sensor, but if we could hook up a phototac and be able to get RPM, then we'd have phase also. So the great thing about the Adash software is once you have the digital recordings from either the VA3 or the VA4, simply upload from Adash website a free version of the firmware that runs on the VA4 onto your PC, and then you can post-analyze. So in this case, I've taken pre-configured setup where I'm collecting data off the 4 channels from the extruder in overall trend, and then I'm also collecting data on all 4 channels on the spectrum. So during this time, while it's actually collecting data from the recording, you can do some real-time analysis. You can select the graph, maximize it to full screen, and then you can select, in this case I'm looking at a frequency over amplitude box where I'm looking at the 5 highest amplitudes and frequencies. You can, once you've collected the data and it's gone through the process, simply download to your PC disk, and once it's downloaded, then you've got a recorded data file, then you can access. In this case, I'm going to go back and I'm going to access this data. And once I pull this particular data file up, you can see the trend during this time. You can maximize any of these trends, expand it. You can go to the spectrum, and in this case, channel 1, we have the spectrum that's already kind of configured as far as a cascade goes, but that's simply however you want to look at the spectrum. You can select a specific spectrum. You can switch back to an amplitude, which is a single spectrum. You can expand the X and Y axis. You can enable your orders boxes or your frequency over amplitude boxes, and simply post-analyze them however you like. Once you're done, you can just close and export back to your disk, and then in the future you can actually upload this to DDS and view it as you would at any Route software. I thank you for watching this video, and I hope you find it interesting.